Hey, what's going on, No Nation? CJ Wilson here with DoakTalk, your host, here to bring you guys another portion of our pre-spring positional breakdowns, part two of the defensive backs. We went over the cornerbacks earlier. Now we're going to focus on the safety position. But before we get started, DoakTalk is brought to you by DASH.FI, the modern charge card for digital ad spend. DASH.FI is a business-to-business corporate expense card program that gets you the highest cash back on the market, starting at 3%. Most companies start you off at 1.5. Over here at Dash, we're going to get you out with 3%. Again, if you own the business, you have any type of corporate expenses, tap in with Dash.FI. We'll definitely take care of you. All right, guys, let's jump right into it. Like I said, this is the safety portion of the pre-spring positional breakdown. The first safety we want to cover is Shyheim Brown, the veteran safety, 6'2", 205 pounds. Started every game for FSU last year, one of the best players within the entire defense last year, graded very highly. Had 53 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception, breaking in third team all ACC honors. He should be, well, not should be, he will be one of the leaders in the secondary this upcoming season. A lot of experience. Shyheim has been played a lot of football for FSU. This year, of course, he does change his number from number 38 to number 1. So it's going to be a huge year for Shyheim Brown. I think he has a lot of NFL potential from the Lake City, Columbia. If you guys remember, man, he was a low-rated 3-star, but had a lot of talent. Just looking at his film and things like that. FSU, of course, offered him a scholarship, developed him over the years, and now we have one of the better safeties in the ACC in Shyheim Brown. He should contend for all conference honors again this upcoming year. Really excited to see what Shyheim could do in year 2 of playing, being coached by Patrick Surtain. Again, I really like Shyheim Brown what he did last year, and another portion of this game is kind of underrated as well too. The special teams aspect, which we're going to talk about in another breakdown pretty soon. But he brought a couple of kicks for FSU, and not just blocking kicks, being effective and just getting back there. Even if you don't get to the kick and block it, just timing and things like that could possibly throw the kicker off. So again, Shyheim Brown is a big time player for FSU. I'll look for him to continue the DBU legacy this upcoming season, and like I said, compete for all conference honors within the ACC. Moving on to the next guy we're going to speak about, Earl Little Jr. This kid is probably the one I'm most excited about from the portal positions on FSU's behalf. Defensive back transfer from Alabama. Didn't play that much for Alabama his first couple years there. 6'1", 190 pounds. Again, this was another kid that Alabama did not want to lose. Is going to definitely compete this upcoming year for playing time in a possible starting position. I love his potential. And as far as discussing Earl Little, whether it's cornerback, safety, things like that, had a hard time kind of putting him in a certain position. I did move him over to the safety segment just for the simple fact that from a content perspective, we had a lot of cornerbacks to cover, not that many safeties, and also his versatility and where we're going to be using him. So Earl Little is a defensive back. Let's put it out there right now. Whether it's safety, cornerback, nickelback, he's a defensive back. So I do think FSU is going to focus on playing him in the slot a little bit. If you guys remember a couple years ago with Jamie Robinson at FSU, he plays safety, deep safety, of course, but a lot of times we use him around the line of scrimmage and playing close to the line within that slot safety nickel position. I think Earl Little can be a upgrade at that position from an athletic standpoint, because as you guys know, as good as Jamie Robinson was, there were certain measurables he just didn't have. Earl Little fits that bill. I think he has NFL potential, big time NFL potential. Just looking at some of the film he had at Alabama, from practice films and things like that, he's aggressive, plays with great technique. Aggressive. When I say aggressive, it's not just tackling anything like that. Aggressive in his jam, aggressive in getting hands on a receiver, very quick in and out of his cuts and out of his breaks, smooth transition. Is very good, effective in pass rush situation as well too. So I can see FSU using him. And Adam Fuller is very creative when it comes to blitzing and getting multiple guys within the rush game outside from the front four, right? As you guys remember last year, Kalen DeLoach, he led the ACC in sacks from a linebacker. You see situations where Shyheim Brown, like I said, he had 2 sacks. Even Akeem Dent was in situations where he was, getting back to the quarterback. So we bring pressure from a multitude of ways, and I do think we'll utilize Earl Little's strengths as well in that situation. This is a guy I'm very excited for. I really think he could be a big-time playmaker within the slot for FSU. Just a menace in the defensive backfield for sure. I think Earl Little is going to compete for a starting job for day one. We'll see how these spring practices work out for him. But again, coming into spring, this is a guy that I'm very excited for, and that's Earl Little Jr. Of course, his dad played at the University of Miami, had a long career in the NFL as well. American Heritage High School. As you guys remember, when we recruited him back in that during those times, he went to American Heritage High School. As you guys know, Patrick Surtain was the head coach at American High School prior to going to the Miami Dolphins and the FSU Seminoles. So a lot of familiarity within the situation with Earl Little and things like that. This is a kid I'm very excited for. A lot of potential, a lot of athletic potential within Earl Little and what it can do for FSU. Moving on to another safety that I'm pretty excited for, Conrad Hussey, the sophomore safety out of Fort Lauderdale, St. Thomas Aquinas. And what can I say, man? This kid made a lot of plays, made some splash plays for FSU in a short period of time. And you got to remember, he didn't enroll early at St. Thomas Aquinas due to their rules or whatnot. They can't enroll early and get on campus in January. He came to the party late in June and July, but didn't miss a beat. Started competing, was the second team safety last year, had 22 total tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception. If you guys remember that huge hit he had against Virginia Tech, dislodging the ball from the running back, that's what my apologies. That's what Conrad Hussey brings to the game. Fast and physical. He plays very fast, get to the ball very fast, has football speed, what we call. When you're playing fast, it shows that you're not thinking. You're just playing carefree and moving around, and that's what Conrad Hussey does. When I say he plays fast, gets the ball carrier, wherever it may be, in a hurry, he also comes with bad intentions. Physical safety with his athletic ability, physical traits. I mean, the sky's the limit for Conrad Hussey. He was very exciting last year for FSU. Like I said, in limited snaps as a true freshman. Look for him to build on that true freshman campaign from the spring practice within these 15 spring practices, just to get more coaching and more development and get more reps, right? As a true freshman, the game is kind of fast in certain situations because it's a transition from high school to college. So to go through your true freshman year, go through the spring development phase, practices and things like that, the game starts to slow down with more reps. So again, look for a big year for Conrad Hussey, man. The sky's the limit for this kid. He has NFL potential written all over him. Even just looking last year in some of the games he flashed in from an athletic standpoint, even as a true freshman, he stood out amongst all of our safeties. So Conrad Hussey is pegged to have a big year for FSU this year, in my opinion. Moving on to Kevin Knowles, a defensive back, a veteran defensive back that's played a lot of football for FSU, over 21 career starts over the last 3 years, going into his senior year. He had 31 tackles and 3 pass breakups this past year as the backup safety. He transitioned from the cornerback position to the safety position. It was some growing pains for Kevin Knowles. Let's be completely honest. I know certain situations where I feel like tackling was an issue. We wasn't wrapping up, pretty much just lunging, diving, and leaving his feet. So not wrapping up and leaving your feet are 2 big no-nos when it comes to tackling because, one, you can't just shoulder people, especially at Kevin Knowles' size. He's not a huge defensive back. At the college level, these some bigger guys, and they work out just as hard as you work out. So you can't just use your shoulder to try to knock people down. And so you got to wrap up and use your technique when it comes to proper tackling, and also launching and leaving your feet. Once you leave your feet, you're dead in the water. So diving and things like that are pretty much big no-nos, and those are some of the issues that Kevin Knowles had. He also had a few lapses in pass coverage, just taking bad angles and things like that. Again, he did transition from the cornerback position to the safety position. So this year, having the full year of safety reps and snaps under his belt, maybe we'll see a better product within Kevin Knowles on the field this upcoming year. Still, he has a lot of athletic ability, played a lot of football, even as a true freshman for FSU. So we'll see if he can tap back into, just whenever you have a bad year, sometimes your own worst enemy is yourself mentally and things like that. So as a defensive back, you're taught to have short-term memory, move on to the next play. Kevin Knowles has a lot of ability, a lot of athletic ability and things like that. Played a lot of football. So flush those old tapes. You have 15 spring practices to figure things out. Going to be competing for a safety spot this upcoming year. So we'll see how it plays out for Kevin Knowles. Ashlyn Barker, 6'3", 26-pound guy out of the JUCO ranks, will be a redshirt sophomore for FSU this upcoming year. This is an interesting one. I want to see more of Ashlyn this upcoming year. His physical attributes stand out. Played sparing snaps didn't play a lot of snaps for FSU this past season, mostly special teams, but the few snaps he did play, it was some bright spots and things like that. I want to see if he can build on that within these spring practices and try to carve his role out within the secondary. And last but not least, KJ Kirkland, the redshirt freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida, 6'1", 197 pounds. Another guy that I'm pretty high on coming in. KJ fits the bill, went to a practice last year, and he was one of the guys that stood out from a physical stature standpoint. Again, this kid has a lot of talent. Redshirted last year due to how good, we were in the secondary and things like that. Wasn't no need to play. Hopefully he could build on the redshirt year, this development phase and the winter workouts and things like that, and transition to these 15 spring practices and try to compete for some playing time, special teams, back of row safety, whatever it may be. But KJ Kirkland is a guy that I'm very high on for the future for FSU. So again, this is a safety position. Maybe they attack and go to the portal within the spring window, depending on who enters. In my opinion, I think we may be okay at the safety position, but you never know. It all depends on who enters the transfer portal at that point in time. I think we're okay. We can roll with the Ducks that we do have and roll them out there and play some football. But again, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. CJ Wilson with DoakTalk. And also, we do have the new membership. Make sure you guys join that.